We are now talking to URI baseball head coach, Raphael Cerrato. What's going on, Raphael?
Not too much. How are you doing tonight?
We are good, man. It's been crazy with everything that's going on with COVID-19. It's been very, very slow, but obviously we're still doing our show, and we're happy to have you on. How are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
We're doing good. We're basically home. We haven't left the house very much in the last couple of months. My wife is able to work from home. Nothing's changed too much for her, which is great. Our stepson's doing online high school work, which is a little different for him. And, I'm trying to do everything I can here. Still relatively busy. But this is getting old pretty quick for for us in our profession. So hopefully things seem to be going in the right direction right now. Hopefully it keeps going in the right direction.
Well, before we get into the baseball situation, I don't know if you're a big basketball fan or are you tuning into the Last Dance with the Chicago Bulls of 1998, the championship teams. You had an opportunity to really see the growth of Michael Jordan and those
Yeah.
teams from the 80s to the 90s. Did you have the opportunity to watch that?
Oh, definitely. My wife and I were like locked into that for the last few weeks. It was awesome. Everyone loved Jordan. I'm a huge Boston Celtics fan. I'm a big basketball fan. And so I followed Jordan. I never rooted necessarily for him because I always liked the underdog. And honestly, the Celtics weren't very good during that period when Jordan was at his best. But that was awesome to watch that, seeing behind the scenes and just seeing his mentality, his toughness. I mean, he was definitely a tough teammate, but he was a different breed, man. That's why he's the best ever. His ability, just his mindset, his work ethic. He finding the slight from anything possible to get him motivated. It's a crazy, it's incredible story. It was fun to watch.
Now let's get to your team and the recruiting situation. With everything going on with the pandemic, has it hurt your opportunity to recruit some of the players moving forward?
For sure. I mean, the thing is, everyone's in the same boat right now. It's not like we're the only school. So, and right now, the NCAA dead period is through June, till June 30th. Hopefully that's not extended into July, because we do want to get out there in a safe way to see games and see kids. But it's, every school's in the same boat. And really, I think with everyone, basically every player getting a waiver or a red shirt for this year, it does affect recruiting. So, honestly, we're going to have about 18 or 19 freshmen on our roster next year because all of our freshmen come back as freshmen. So, along with our incoming guys. So it's going to be, it'll affect recruiting for the next 4 years because all these guys, every player redshirted. We have 6, 7 seniors returning that we weren't expecting to have next year. So our roster is going to be big. It's going to be bigger than normal because those kids don't count against your roster. It's going to be tough. We're going to be good. I mean, we're really super excited for next year, but it's going to be competitive. And yeah, the recruiting, I'm hoping we're going to get a chance to get out there. I mean, we are in good shape. We've had a few commitments for the kids coming in for the 2021 grads, some verbal commitments. So we only really need a couple more guys in that class, and we're looking at kids that are currently sophomores. I mean, it starts early in baseball, so we're in good shape. But we definitely need to want to get out there. Hopefully, at some point this summer to see some kids play. We have a big list of guys that we want to see, and we're excited to see them. Hopefully, that can happen at some point this summer.
This season, the little bit of it that you did play, you had some nice wins against Arizona, who was ranked at the time, Maryland, and Central Michigan. What do those wins, even if they weren't series wins, all series wins, show about the growth of the program as a whole since when you started?
I mean, we've been pretty competitive since I've been here, and even before I was the head coach as the assistant, and Jim Foster before me. We've had a pretty solid program for a while now, and I'm a URI grad, so it's pretty special for me to be here. We weren't very good when I was here playing. We're a lot better now. But we had a good club. We had a really good club. We had good wins. We could have a couple more wins in there, but we had 2 good games against Arizona, who was ranked, beat them once, beat Central Michigan twice, who was ranked, had a win against Maryland, and had a good our final weekend against Delaware State. We put up a bunch of runs, and we were good. We had probably the best offense I've had in the 8-9 years I've been at the program. So that was it was disappointing. I mean, the first few days, especially, it was tough. It was, the seniors, we weren't sure if they were going to be able to come back, and it was really, really difficult. But after a week or two, it's like, I felt it was hard to really focus because of everything that was going on in the world. It's like, how can I felt selfish worrying about our team in our season. So it's been tough, but it's more everyone is in a difficult spot in the entire world. It's not just our region or our sport or whatever. I mean, it's everyone. So it's, you almost feel selfish if you're kind of woe is me about our season. I mean, it was tough, and we were excited, and it's funny. We just saw Division I baseball, D1 baseball just came out with their regional team, and they had us in the regional, which is great to see. But it's also, oh my God, I wish because the regionals would be starting this coming weekend, so it's tough. I mean, our last weekend would have been our conference tournament, and it's frustrating to not be playing right now for sure.
Well, Coach, we've been interviewing a lot of baseball coaches this week, and believe it or not, this is like our coach week where we're interviewing all coaches on our show. We interview FDU Knights head coach Rob DiToma, and we also interviewed the Richmond Spiders head coach Tracy Woodson. And I asked him the same question. Now, when you're recruiting a player, do you recruit a top pitcher? I know pitching is at its premium right now, and it's not very easy to find if you're not a top collegiate school. But do you look for a pitcher, or are you looking for that everyday player that can play defense, play offense, and do the things that you expect him to do?
Certainly look for both. I mean,
of course,
every year you're looking to bring in pitching, so that doesn't change. You're always looking to bring in arms. Some years it might be 3 or 4. Some years it might be 5 or 6 guys. So each year. But you're always looking for arms. So that's consistent. I mean, positionally, in most top programs, I mean, we're, at our level, you kind of focus on more of the middle of the field guys, like the guy in high school, like shortstops, catchers, center fielders, your best athletes. Because if they can play shortstop, you can play anywhere. And most of your best athletes are playing short or maybe center, and then you have the catching position. So those are kind of the positions you look at first, the most. And we probably have out of our 16, 17 position players, probably half of them were shortstops in high school. Now they know we're not going to be shortstops at this level, but so we look for certain things. The first one is it's the right kind of kid. I believe we've built a program that has really quality individuals. That's very important for us. We want to enjoy coming out to the park every day to field or hitting barn and just being together. And so that's first and foremost. You want the right person. And I'm not going to overlook that for talent. So that's number one is the right fit for us. And then you're looking for certain things, on the mound, we're not necessarily going to get the kids throwing 90, 93 in high school. Either they're getting drafted or they're going to like LSU or Virginia. But that next level guy that's projectable, we've had a lot of success of guys going on from it and going on to pro ball. They have guys that are good in high school, but we believe with the work that we can in the coaching we're going to give them that they're going to get a lot better. So that's, pitching wise, that's kind of what we're looking for is that guy that has a chance to really blossom at the next level as he gets stronger, as he kind of work a little mechanics, and for pitching wise, we're always looking for someone, what does he have for a swing and miss pitch at this level? That's important, whether it's his fastball, a changeup, slider, what does he have that can get people out? So that's, velocity is great, but it's not the end all. So there's a lot of things we're looking for pitching wise. Positionally, we're looking for certain things as a hitter. It's not too many guys. You see a lot of guys really sometimes get a lot better in college on the mound. You don't necessarily see that as much offensively as a hitter. So, if you're not hitting well in high school and you're striking out, I mean, there's a good chance you're not going to hit in college. So, someone who's definitely has success, but we're looking for certain things in terms of athleticism. If someone who's versatile, we have a lot of versatile guys in our program that can play multiple positions. Guys that can do different things. We like speed. Our place is not an easy place to hit, especially early in the year with the cold and wind. So we want guys that can really run and play defense. But we're looking for certain things, certain positions. You want guys that are athletic, and if a guy can really hit, that's obviously number one. You'd find a spot for him on the field. So, but there's a lot of things. We get really in depth in terms of not only their ability, but like I said before, what kind of kid are they, and are they motivated? Are they hungry? Are they a good teammate? So there's a lot of factors. And I think my coach and my staff has done a great job, recruiting the last few years of bringing in the right type of player in our program.
Raphael, in terms of the strategy, we're talking about the Power 5 teams getting all the recruits and stuff like that. You being obviously not a mid-major, but again, a pretty good mid-major, A-10 school. You being that type of manager, playing against those types of teams, we mentioned some of them earlier, is there a certain managerial strategy? Do you try to aim for doing certain little things to try to get an advantage that way? Is there a certain strategy that is different from your norm that you use against those teams? And if so, what is it?
I don't think so. It's a lot of times you play. We've been, if you look at our schedule in recent years, we play everybody. And like even for example, next season on our schedule, I mean, hopefully there's going to be issues with budgets and things like that. So hopefully we play this. But we have Arizona State, East Carolina, Nebraska, Old Dominion, Kansas State. All those teams are on our schedule next year for series. So we play a very, very competitive, and that'll never change. And it's tough. It's tough for us to play those teams, especially early in the year when they've been outside a lot and we haven't. But I don't think anything. The key is having talent to play, and I think putting our players in situations that they play in, they're used to playing in front of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people, because that's important. Like if you're not used to that can be tough, because you make an error and all of a sudden it stems into another error and a walk and a hit by pitch, another error, and then all of a sudden the game gets out of hand. So you really need more a sense of toughness in your guys than anything to be able to play, because we've been very competitive against teams. We've beaten ranked teams every year. So it's not necessarily a different strategy. It's honestly it's playing solid baseball. You don't want to give these teams extra at bats, extra runners. So defense, not walking guys and then playing good defense is the most important thing against a really good club, because they will take advantage of it. You can't get away with that compared, a top program as opposed to maybe a lesser program we might play. You can't get away with that stuff. So it's just playing clean baseball. No matter what it is. Again, if you're playing Arizona State, you're playing whoever in the Northeast, it's still baseball. It's one-on-one battles, pitcher and hitter, have good at bats, play good defense, throw strikes, and then you're going to put yourself in position. If you got the talent, which we do, you're going to put yourself in position to win some games.
Coach, one of our fans is actually, he sent us a message and he said, ask him about his field turf. Does it play faster than the normal field?
A little bit. I would say a little bit. It's a little bouncier. It could be a little bouncier than grass and dirt. If you get a chopper or you get like a little blooper that could bounce over the outfielder's head, that's kind of the big difference, is if you could get like those choppers or the ones that might bounce or skip if it's a little wet. But not too much different. I mean, as much as I love dirt and grass, and yeah, if we were down south, I would definitely want to play on dirt and grass. But in the Northeast, I mean, having a turf you have to, because we're out there practicing in January, February, and no dirt and grass field is going to be ready. So it plays a little quicker for sure, especially if it's wet. And I always teach our guys, if it's a little wet out there, keep that tag on, because guys are not used to, they're going to slide right over the bag every time. So, but it's good. I mean, again, I'm a purist of baseball. I love beautiful grass, clay fields, but I'm also a realist. Like in Northeast college baseball, you better have turf, and so it plays pretty good for the most part. It's not too much different.
Now, Coach, I've been arguing with this guy sitting right next to me for years about the position, the defensive position, and I've been arguing that the shortstop position is the most important position on the field. He thinks it's center field. Could you please tell this kid right next to me that it is the shortstop position?
Well, what was his? He thought what did
center field athletically was the most important position in terms of range
shortstop.
And stuff like that. Okay.
Shortstop. Well, I think center field is huge. It's important, but I mean, shortstop's got more plays. So really, I would say center field is a little bit behind shortstop in terms of how important that position is eventually, because he's just going to get more reps and more chances and more opportunities for errors. I think it's more difficult plays. So I would go short. Although I'd probably, you talk about catcher, that not necessarily in terms of athleticism and range, but I would say catching is the most important defensive position, and then shortstop.
You know what's funny?
Center.
It's funny that you say that, because I said shortstop, and then I said the second most important position is the catching position. Yeah. And he says, no, it's the outfield. It's center field. And I love it. I should have asked every single coach this year, every single coach we interviewed this week on what they thought about that, because I think Speedy was out of his mind when he was trying to argue that. But that's just me.
Well, I think you're right. Well, I think you think about this. You could pretty much. We had a freshman shortstop this year who's a stud, really, really good player. I could put him in center field and he would be an above average center fielder. Where I can't take my center fielder. My center fielder is outstanding defensively, but I couldn't. Well, he's lefty, so he definitely couldn't play short. But you can't take outfielders and put them at shortstop. So I would say you're better athletes playing short for the most part.